Hi, I'm Andy Shea, Director of Quality Assurance for AY McDonald Manufacturing Company. Today we're going to be going over some general installation instructions for our brass saddles. We'll be demonstrating the installation of 4 different types of saddles following the manufacturer's instructions. Before we get started, here is some general information on our brass saddles. AY McDonald saddles are specifically designed for cold, potable water installations only. Whenever possible, those installations should take place after the pipe pressure testing has been completed. Do not use Vaseline, plumber's grease, or any other petroleum-based product on the rubber seals or O-rings. Any non-petroleum-based lubricant would be acceptable. Each saddle is designed to withstand the working pressure of the main, but not to exceed 200 psi maximum. For brass saddles, AY McDonald offers the 2-bolt design and the hinge design. Stainless steel options include the single strap, the 2 single straps, and the double strap design. For a silicon bronze saddle, we offer this in a 1 and 2 single strap design. Prior to installation, make sure you have the proper type and size of saddle for your pipe. Your pipe's diameter range and tap size identification will be found on the saddle's top and bottom. Be sure to clean the pipe surface thoroughly, checking for nicks or gouges. When installing any of the AY McDonald saddles, begin by removing the saddle from the box. Remove any nuts or bolts on the saddle and remove the instruction sheet. Read the instruction sheets, as they have a lot of important information on them, including the torque specs for the nuts and the bolts. When putting the saddle on the main, be careful of the O-ring. Do not slide the saddle up and down the main as to dislodge the O-ring from the saddle top. All saddles should be put on the pipe at about a 45-degree angle. For our hinge saddles, start by threading the bolt in by hand. Once the bolt is started, snug up the saddle to the pipe either by using a socket or a screwdriver. Once the saddle is snug on the pipe, use a torque wrench to complete the installation. For this size saddle, the torque spec is 5 to 6 foot-pounds, which is the same as 60 to 72 inch-pounds. Once the saddle is installed, there will still be a small gap between the brass and the pipe where the O-ring is compressed on the pipe. The hinge-style saddles are not intended to have the feet touch. There should still be a gap when the saddle is installed properly. For the 2-bolt or 2-piece design, start by threading the bolt in by hand on both the top and the bottom. Once the bolt is started, you can snug up the saddle to the pipe using a screwdriver or socket. Keep the spacing between the feet on both the top and bottom side evenly until the saddle is snug on the pipe. Once snug, use a torque wrench to complete the installation. The torque spec for this size saddle and pipe is 5 to 6 foot-pounds or 60 to 72 inch-pounds. For the AY McDonald double strap stainless steel saddle, start by putting the saddle top on the main. Then slide the saddle strap onto the top. Thread the nuts on evenly on all 4 lugs. Once threaded on by hand, use a socket and ratchet to snug them all up. Use an alternating pattern when doing so. Once snugged up, use a torque wrench to complete the installation. For this size saddle, the torque spec is 30 to 35 foot-pounds. Continue to use the alternating pattern when tightening down the nuts. When all 4 nuts are evenly tightened down with an even spacing, the saddle is installed. Over-tightening of the saddle can cause failure of the pipe or the saddle during pressure testing of the line. A PVC main will expand when pressurized, changing the torque on the bolts or the nuts. Testing has shown this torque increases around 25 to 50% when the main is pressurized. Now that the saddle is installed, a corporation valve can be installed into the saddle. Once the corporation valve is installed, recheck the torque on the saddle and tighten if necessary. The saddle should be tested prior to backfilling while the service line is still exposed. When backfilling or compacting, be careful as to not put undue stress on the service line, corporation stop, or saddle as to cause any one of these to fail. By following the manufacturer's instructions on lubricants, installation torques, and backfilling can give you the confidence that the service line will not need to be dug up in the future for repairs. For more information, feel free to call us at 1-800-AY-CARES. I'm Andy Shea, and this is how to install an AY McDonald saddle.